Namaskaram. So today we are going to discuss about tax audits. It is also known as audit under fiscal laws. Why is it known as audit under fiscal laws? Because earlier we had two audits, which is income tax audit and GST audit. But my dear friends, now GST audit is done away with. Even if your turnover is exceeding 5 crore rupees, a self-certification is enough, and that's the reason you don't have to go for CA audit or CMA audit for GST purpose. But income tax audit, yes, definitely it is still active, and it is bread and butter for many professional firms, and professional firms as well as consultants as well as businesses are confused in regards to various provisions of income tax audit. I thought it's better to record a series of videos which will try to clarify as much as your all doubts. But in case we are not covering any part of your confusion, then you are free to put comments, and our backend team will try to respond to you as soon as possible. Apart from that, if it is a detailed case study, then we are okay to record additional video for that. But today we are going to start with the discussion of income tax audit under section 12, which is applicable for public and charitable trust, which is required to claim the exemption from income under section 12 AB. They have to register, you know that. And then there is a generic tax audit, which is there in under section 44 AB. Majorly we will talk about 44 AB audit. One more provision is there, which is section 35D and section 35E audit. This audit is required to be done only when you claim deduction under section 35D in case of preliminary expenses, and section 35E about some mineral exploration company. So this is too specific, so we are not going to cover this part, but this too we'll be covering in different segments of the lecture. Starting with 44 AB applicability, because many people are confused in terms of applicability itself, like when the audit is applicable. So there are so many conditions now under section 44 AB that we should discuss here, like when audit under section 44 AB becomes mandatory. So let's start with that. So section 44 AB provides for compulsory audit. My dear friend, compulsory audit. Voluntarily you can get your books of accounts anytime, whenever you are feeling like your books should be audited, because that will always enhance the credibility of your books of accounts. You know that apart from the income tax provision, whenever you are applying for the bank loan or any financial arrangement, bank will always put more reliance on the audited financial statement rather than unaudited financial statement. There are various reasons for which you can get the books of accounts voluntarily audited, but one thing is for sure, if it is compulsorily applicable to you, and if you do not get it audited before the due date which is mentioned under income tax law, then you have to bear a penalty. Not only penalty, there are very much consequences, like there is a consequences of disallowances, non-filing of return in time. All those things will be applicable if you fail to get your books of accounts audited under section 44 AB. So let's start with the applicability without wasting much time. Every person, when I say every person includes company, LLP, partnership firm, HUF, individuals. Everybody is covered here. That means there is no special provision for company and LLP. The same provisions are applicable for company and LLP. Many of my friends will call me and ask me this simple doubt. The company is recently incorporated and the company's turnover is not yet crossed 1 crore rupees. Are we supposed to get our books of accounts audited under income tax law because it is a company? It is not mandatory. A company or a LLP or any other firm is required to get audited under income tax law only when their total sales, that is turnover, exceeds 1 crore rupee. So 1 crore is the limit. I know you might be thinking, sir, no, there is a 10 crore rupee limit. Give me some time, I'll come to 10 crore as well. That is exceptional provision. Generic provision says whenever your turnover exceeds 1 crore rupees during the previous year, then you are supposed to get your books of accounts audited if you are a business assessee. Business assessee means manufacturing, trading, service industry, everybody falls under business category. But sir, I'm a professional firm. Professional firm means you are a chartered accountant, lawyer, advocate, engineer, doctor, architect, movie makers. Okay. Then for you, the limit is 50 lakh Please understand. And here we do not call it turnover, we call it gross receipts from the profession. Whenever we say gross receipt, it is kind of technically it is a turnover only, but we don't say total sales because that's not applicable for professional people. So you need to understand, professionals are supposed to get their books audited only when their gross receipt exceeds 50 lakh, and for business the turnover limit is 1 crore. This is original limit, generic limit. It was there in history and it is still continued. It is not deleted. So clause number A and clause number B is still there. Okay. Next para I am reading. If you are a assessee who is claiming deduction under section, who are computing income under section 44A, this is for residential GTA. Who is GTA? Goods transport agencies whose turnover are turnover is booked from only applying and hiring of goods vehicle, and they are not having more than 10 vehicles during the previous year. Please don't expect from me that I'll be covering the sections in detail. If you want, then for that I can record a separate lecture altogether, because every section is should be dedicatedly covered under different clauses. I assume that you are having fair idea of the sections or what happens in the sections. When I say when GTA, the GTA means goods transport agent, you should know that under section 44A specifically, we are having 7,500 per month per vehicle criteria. Okay, and if it is a gross weight vehicle, that if the gross weight of a vehicle exceeds 12,000 kg, that means the vehicle is a heavy goods vehicle, then it is 1,000 rupees per ton per vehicle per month. So this general knowledge you should have. The knowledge of section you must have. If you want, then we can have a separate series for presumptive computation. But if you are computing income under presumptive provisions, then government says you have to minimum declare this much. Sir, can I declare more than this much? Obviously, you can always declare more than whatever is mentioned under presumptive law. But sir, can I declare less than this much? Then answer becomes no. If you are declaring lower than what is written by the law presumptively, then you have to get your books of accounts audited, even if your turnover doesn't exceed 1 crore rupee in this particular case. So please understand, if you want to declare a lower income, your deemed income is lower than 44A, 44BB, 44BBB. These two are for non-resident. Ignore that. Okay. And he has claimed his income lower than the profit on gain, so deemed to be profit and gains of his business, then he has to get the books of accounts audited. This is another provision. Sir, what about 44ADA and 44AD? Because 44AD is very famous. 44ADA is applicable to the professionals, where government demands professional to declare minimum of 50% of their gross receipt as profit margin, because that much profit margin every professional usually earns. Okay, and 44AD means this is applicable for business assessees, where government is demanding them to claim minimum 8% as a business margin, because we practically understand many businesses are having margin more than 10% to 12% to 15%, more than that I'm telling you. So government is going on discounted side and they are saying, okay, minimum 8% you declare, we are happy to accept that. And further concession is given for those who are installing the GPay and the Paytm, these QR codes. So if somebody is taking money from the notified modes, that is banking modes, then government says, okay, we will give you the concessional rate, that is 6%. So for banking turnover it is 6%, and for cash turnover you can understand 8% up to the turnover of 2 crore rupees. Up to the turnover of 2 crore rupees, this particular scheme is applicable. The presumptive scheme for professional is applicable up to the turnover of 50 lakh. Okay, that means it is a small professional or a small business person. They can go for the concessional scheme under income tax law without maintaining the books of accounts and without getting them audited. They can still go for the income tax assessment, and they can offer the profits. Very simple written they have to file, that is 50% margin they have to show minimum for profession, and 8% or 6% margin they have to show for business purpose. Sir, can I show more than this? Definitely government will never hesitate to accept your higher profit than the presumptive profit. Then some students might be confused. So why somebody will declare more profit than the presumptive profit? The reason is they are going to apply for the bank loan, and you know that bank people will say, unless and until you are having enough repayment capacity, we will not disburse your loan. So sometimes, yes, in our case also, many clients comes to us and they say, sir, please declare more profit than the last year. Usually they always show the increasing trend, growth. They always show the business is growing. So for that reason, sometimes we have to declare higher profit than what is written in the presumptive scheme. So yeah, we have to do that. But sometime for saving the tax, client will come to you and they will say, sir, please declare lower profit than the presumptive profit. Then government say, SSC, we don't trust your demand. Why don't you get your books of accounts audited from the professionals, that is chartered accountants? So if you wish to declare lower profit than the presumptive profit under section 44 AD or 44 ADA, and your total income is more than basic exemption limit. Your total income is more than basic exemption limit. So what do you mean by total income is more than basic exemption limit? In India, we have basic exemption limit as 2.5 lakh for normal citizen. Senior citizen over 60 years, their basic exemption limit is 3 lakh. Super senior citizen 80 years plus, their basic exemption limit is 5 lakh. Because our majority assesses will fall in the category of normal citizen, so let us understand their total income is more than 2.5 lakh, then definitely they have to get their books of accounts audited under this particular clauses. Please understand, let me summarize this particular provision. By default, if somebody asks you when the books of accounts should be audited under 44 AB, if it's a business SSC, then say 1 crore rupees. If it is a professional, then it is 50 lakh. If you are a SSC who's covered under 44A, that is you are a GTA, goods transport agent, then please understand you have to get your books of accounts audited if you are declaring your income lower than 44A income. If you are under 44 AD or ADA, presumptive taxation of a business and presumptive taxation of profession, then if you wish to declare margin of your business lower than the presumptive margin, and second condition, your income is exceeding basic exemption limit, then you have to get books of accounts audited. I guess I have made my point clear. Now the 1 crore rupee will be extended to 10 crore rupee. This is the exception which is brought by latest Finance Act 2022, which is applicable from assessment year 2022-23. They say if your turnover exceeds, even if it exceeds 1 crore rupees, still we will not ask you to get your books of accounts audited if you promise us you are not dealing much in the cash. So your cash movements is very low. Why government hate cash? Because you know that cash leads to the black money, and black money leads to corruption and terror and terrorist activity and all illegal activities. The source of all illegal activities is cash. So government want to reduce the cash circulation from the market. That's the reason government is saying, please look at this particular provision. We will trust you up to 10 crore rupees and we will relieve you from the compulsory audit. Optional, you can anytime you can get it done, but your compulsory audit requirement will be done away if you do not deal in cash over 5%, more than 5% on your receipt side and over 5% on your payment side. So please understand this condition is applicable both on debit side of the cash and bank account and credit side of the cash and bank account. So when the cash receipts and payment, it's a combined condition. Cash receipts and payments during the year does not exceed 5% of total receipts and 5% of total payments as the case may be. In other words, 95% or more business transactions should be done through banking channels. Then the tax audit limit will be expanded to the 10 crore. So where to use this particular 10 crore rupees limit? So please understand, if your assessee is engaged into day-to-day business activities like a trader, manufacturer, I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of cash transaction, cash deposits in the bank account, cash withdrawal. Apart from that, this is not applicable to profit and loss account. This limit you are not supposed to check on the profit and loss account. This limit you should check on the receipt and payment account. So even if the assessee introduces capital in cash, this particular provision you need to check. So total cash receipt during the year, total cash payment during the year should not exceed 5% of total receipts and total payment. So please understand, it is applicable on receipt and payment. It is not applicable to profit and loss account. Secondly, this extended limit is of no use for regular SSCs. This is applicable only for those people who are doing F&O transaction or intraday transaction in the share market. You know that recently, from the lockdown perspective, many people have started doing trading in the market, and obviously market trading, there are a lot of salaried people who are having passive income. They are not active business people, so they are doing this trading, and this trading falls under PGBP head, and because it falls under PGBP, if their turnover exceeds 1 crore rupees, in market there is a say that they have to get their books of accounts audited. I am telling you, they are not supposed to get their books of accounts audited, because nobody can invest in cash in share market. So you have to show, okay, for you the tax audit limit is the 10 crore rupees if you are dealing in the market, because your 100% transaction must have done through the banking channels only. So you must prepare the books of account to justify this particular thing, that okay, 100% business transactions were done through the banking channels, and the assessee is of this particular business model, that is F&O transaction or intraday transaction. So for them this particular limit is applicable. Apart from that, if you are having a very sophisticated business model where you don't deal in cash, then that is again for you limit will be 10 crore rupees. But if you ask me a personal opinion, after crossing 1 crore rupees, should you get your books of account audited? My answer is yes, because there are so many aspects of the business transaction that a normal business person may not understand. You need to get the books of accounts audited, so that either there will be the improvisation, or you can avoid the future penalties for non-compliance. So to check whether your books of accounts were complied with, I believe everybody should get books of accounts audited when your turnover is crossing actually 1 crore or 2 crore rupees. There are so many benefits of getting books of accounts audited. First of all, your due date will be extended from 31st July to 31st October for filing the return, but the audit report should go by 30th September. Audit report should go by 30th September. So this is what you should understand. Your due date will be extended. So you get more time to finalize your books of accounts. Your books of accounts will be more authentic. All these benefits are there. If there are losses in F&O transaction or intraday transaction, you can carry forward those losses, because proper computation of losses will be done and return should be filed within the due date. These are the requirement of carry forwarding the losses. All right, allow me to go ahead. Yeah, one more provision is there. If you have selected 44AD and anytime if you come out of 44AD, then 5 years cooling period will be applicable. 5 years cooling period means once you come out of 44AD, for next 5 years, you have to get your books of accounts audited. So it's not only 1 year audit, it's actually a 5-year audit which will be applicable to you if you are declaring profit lower than 44AD profit. So we usually don't appreciate declaring profit lower than 44AD profit. We always tell our assessee, please declare 44AD margin minimum 6% or 8%. That is more beneficial for you. If you are coming out of 44AD, then at least for 5 years you should stay outside of it, and every year you have to maintain the books of account. Getting books of account audited is not a bigger compliance, that can be done anytime, but maintaining the books of account is very difficult for the small assessees. That's the reason we always prefer small assessees that they should select 44AD. So there are certain question and answer here, my dear friends, for your understanding. I guess I should record the question and answer in the next series. That will be much better. Okay.